Gabby, for people that might be dealing with self harm or know someone that's dealing with self harm, are you able to share just from your own experience how some of the practical ways you actually deal with the urges when they come up for you?
Yeah, yeah. So there are three main ways that have really, really helped me. The first way is the urge surfing, which is
Mm,
something I mentioned briefly
yeah.
earlier in the episode, but more in depth, it's kind of this idea of understanding that this is just an urge, just like how it's kind of on this idea of an emotion wave, where when you're feeling an emotion, it really, genuinely, the impact of it and the physical impact of it really only lasts 20 minutes. Like the urge
Mm,
wave is so quick. And then anything that's resulting from that is other emotions coming in. Your rational mind comes and
yeah.
you're like a real person again. It's not just being consumed by the emotion during the emotion wave. So it's kind of on that same idea that your urge is something that does not last nearly as long as you think it might or you assume it does. Especially if you are to give in to the urge so quickly, then you think that you're cutting it off from lasting for like hours or something when
Yeah.
it's just
Yep.
usually and traditionally it's not the case. And so urge surfing is essentially just feeling the urge and understanding that it's just going to be there. Just like a thought
Mm,
might pass like a cloud in your head, it's just going to be there. Um, and you do your best to, like, if you're in class, you just zone in, you focus in and hone in on what your professor is saying. Or if it's while you're hanging out with friends, you just focus on something to just urge surf. And that thing has your complete mind and all of your thoughts. That really works for me. Something else that has really helped that I think more I have heard this help more people than the urge surfing does is kind of, actually, now that I think about it, it's kind of based on the same idea that it's just a moment and it's
yeah.
not this longer thing. But the way to appease the urge is by getting something that kind of that makes your brain think you're giving into the urge, but you're
Mm,
not. So something that most people use is like ice. Like
mm,
if you're really having your if you're really wanting to self-harm, go grab a cube, 3, however many, and just like put it all over your wrist and just
mm,
go up and down your wrist with the ice. It will melt eventually, but it's kind of that shock of the coldness that your body automatically is kind of like, ooh, it's like zapped a little bit.
yeah.
And it gives the same stimulation as maybe a cut or a burn or
Mm,
whatever you use to self-harm. So, and people have used other things. I'm trying to remember some of the other ones, but ice I think is the one that helps the most because it doesn't hurt you, it
yeah.
doesn't do anything. It's just something to like trick your mind, and then the urge has passed. The third thing is also kind of on the same wavelength and based on the same rationale of moving your body. And some people do this with working out, of like kind of having that same idea of that pain of like running, and also having that like kind of release of endorphins that you get. I, for one, don't work out, so this isn't something I personally do, but it kind of does the same thing of it tricks your mind. Like you're just running it out. It honestly makes you think you're running away from it, which like doesn't isn't usually a good thing to run away from things, but this
Mm.
is a different thing. And but even if you can't run or work out or aren't able to do that, like even just walking or just doing something that kind of has this repetitive motion
Mm.
as you urge surf is something that has like really, really helped me. So I would say those three.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. And obviously, if
Yeah.
people are dealing with self harm, we don't want them to think they don't need to go and seek help. Please do go and seek help through friends, family members, counselors, doctors, whoever that might be. But yeah, Gabby, thanks so much for sharing your experience.
Yeah, of course.